Zakaria alayhi salam became the caretaker of Maryam, the mother of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. He became the caretaker. So he took care of her needs. He was responsible. He was the guardian, you can say. Because the parents had given her, who should they give it to? What better than the Prophet of Allah, that, O Prophet of Allah, Zakaria, you take care of the child and you do whatever you think is best. So that according to our promise, the child's life is dedicated to Allah, Maryam alayhi salam. So he became the caretaker. During this caretaking, there came a stage when Sayyidah Maryam alayhi salam became pregnant. She conceived. She conceived unnaturally. And Quran mentions that in detail. In Surah Al-Imran, later on in verse number 59, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that إِنَّ مَثَلَ عِيسَى عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَمَثَلِ آدَمَ. That Isa and Adam alayhi salam, they are similar. Why are they similar? Because Adam alayhi salam had no father. Isa alayhi salam has also no father. So the similarity is mentioned. When Sayyidah Maryam alayhi salam conceived the child, Jibreel came to her and told her, إِنَّا نُبَشِّرُكَ بِغُلَامٍ. But this is in detail in the Quran. I'm not going to give you all the translation because of the lack of time. The Quran says that she asked, how am I going to conceive a child? How am I going to give birth to a child when no man has ever touched me? No man has ever touched me. How am I going to give birth? How is the child going to be conceived? Then Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam said, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, when he says, when Allah wants something, it happens. So he said that there will be a child, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranged it, and she conceived unnaturally a child. She gave birth to the child. When she gave birth to the child in Bethlehem, which is Bethlehem, which is now Israel, Jerusalem, that part. There she gave birth to the child. She came to Zakaria alayhi salam. Zakaria alayhi salam obviously knew everything. But because he had to be silent. Because Allah wanted to show the status of the newborn child. If Zakaria alayhi salam was going to tell everybody this child is born as a miracle, unnaturally, and he is a prophet of Allah, then it wouldn't be that effective as the child himself would speak. This is why Sayyidah Maryam was ordered by Allah for a few days to remain silent, not to speak a single word to people. So she came with a child. People blamed her. How could you do so? You are a daughter of Imran, a very pious person, a very God-fearing person. How could you do something? How could you embarrass your whole family? And she remained silent. That was the trial of her patience. Even though she could justify, she could say, people are blaming her in the society. Everybody is together. She is as someone who is in front of everybody defamed. She is being defamed. Yet she has so much trust in Allah. Everybody is pointing fingers at her, yet she remains silent. Because she knows she's right. There is no point arguing with them. No point telling them what happened. Because she is right, Allah knows it. And when the time comes right, Allah will defend herself. Allah will defend her himself. So that is what happened. When she was asked, she pointed to the child. That ask him, don't ask me. Then Isa alayhi salam then spoke when he was child. Inni Abdullah. I am the servant of Allah. I am a prophet of Allah. So when this birth of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam happened, this was in Bethlehem. At that time in Persia, there was a king who saw, along with many of his ministers, many signs. And he called all the astrologists, he called them close to them, and he asked them that something has happened in the world, and find out through your knowledge, the knowledge of Ilm-ul-Jafar, Ilm-ul-Abjad, etc. What happened? And they told him that a prophet of God is born. A very high servant of God is born, prophet of God. And they told him even he was born where Tahir-ul-Qadri is. This king sent 3 of his ministers to Bethlehem with much gold, diamond, jewelry, just appreciate and just gift it to the child. And the Christians also believe this, but they believe that there were 3 kings. They believe there were 3 kings. We say no. It was the Persian king who sent 3 of his representatives. When they came and they arrived, they thought that the child was the area which was told to them was Sham, Syria. But Sham at that time was huge. Israel comes under, even Egypt would come under some part of it. So what happened is they went to Damascus because they thought this is the place. But there they found out that it is in Bethlehem. So when they traveled from Damascus to Bethlehem, their news, arrival of their news already spread in Bethlehem. But it spread that the king has sent someone to kill Isa alayhi salam, to kill the new prophet of Allah. Because he is afraid he will challenge him later on in his life. And because of this fear, this rumor spread. And because of this fear, Sayyidah Maryam alayhi salam was told by Zakaria alayhi salam that it is better that you take the child with you and go somewhere else. And she then moved to Egypt, Misr, Egypt, where Qahira is. She moved there and she lived until Isa alayhi salam was 12 years of age. She lived there. So until Isa alayhi salam was 12 years of age, he lived in Egypt. Then when he was 12, they came back to Bethlehem. So when this happened in Egypt, many things happened in Egypt when Isa alayhi salam was small. Signs of his prophethood were shown. One of those beautiful examples is that he was in front of a person, and he was, even though he was young, he was very generous, Isa alayhi salam. He was very, very generous. He was so generous that whatever his mom, Maryam, would give him, he would donate it to the poor people. And what I'm telling you, the Christians will not even know this, or will tell you this story today. You might not have heard of it. What happened is, one of those incidents is that a blind person, a blind faqir came to him, beggar, and asked him for something. He had clothes, some extra clothes, shawl, and it was winter time. And he had in front of him, and he said to that person, blind person, it's in front of you, go take it. The person said to Isa alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam is 11, 12, very young. He says to the child, I'm blind, where is it? Give it to me, I can't see. Isa alayhi salam then said to him, look in front of you, it's there. As soon as Isa alayhi salam said this, look in front of you, it's there. On the same time, Allah gave eyesight to this blind person and he was able to see it. He saw it and he picked it up. And remember, Isa alayhi salam never put his hand on this blind person, not yet. Those things happened in Bethlehem later on. Here he only said, Imam Ibn Kasir has narrated very beautifully. He only said to him, look in front of you, it's there. Look in front of you, with your eyes it's there. Which means that they say, the ulama they say, this shows that there are some people that لَإِنْ سَأَلَنِي لَأُوتِيَنَّهُ. When they say something, this is what the hadith of Rasulullah in Bukhari Muslim says, لَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيَّ بِالنَّوَافِلِ حَتَّى أُحِبُّهُ. There are certain people, not just prophets are very high in their status. Their miracles, spiritual power, spiritual strength is very powerful. Just in the servants of these prophets, there are some people. In the nation, in the ummah of these people, prophets. In the ummah of Rasulullah for example, Holy Prophet says in Muslim Bukhari, have narrated this, لا يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه. There are some people, they are so good in their worshipping, that a part of the voluntary ibadah, they perform extra nawafil prayers. And through them, they get close to Allah. They get so close to Allah that there comes a stage, Allah says, that I become their ears they are listening from. Allah says, I become their eyes through which they see. I become their feet by which they walk. I become the head by which they hold things. And then at the end of the hadith, the words are, لَإِنْ سَأَلَنِي لَأُوتِيَنَّهُ. These people, if they ask me anything, whether it is written in their destiny or not, whether I have written on the tablet or not, if they ask me anything, because I have written the tablet, I can also change it. So I give it to them. So this is some people, they think that Allah has written is not going to change. It's wrong. Allah has written and He can even change it. But nobody can question it. This is why Rasulullah said that لا يرد القضاء إلا بالدعاء والصدقة. Your destiny cannot be changed except by two things. So it means it can be changed by two things. Dua and sadaqah. But dua also is the word of a prophet. The word of a wali Allah, friend of Allah. If a friend of Allah says something, it will happen. Here the Prophet of Allah hasn't even touched him yet. He didn't even touch the blind person. He just said, look with your eyes in front of you, it's there, and the person was able to see. There are other examples in Quran. You know old Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, he was away from his son Yusuf. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. What happened? He was blind, he became blind. He became blind. How did he get his eyesight back? اذهبوا بقميصي هذا فألقوه على وجه أبي بصيرا. Yusuf alayhi salam said, bring this shirt of mine to my father. Allah will give him his eyesight back. The question arises, could Allah not give Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam eyesight back without his shirt? It was Allah who gave the eyesight. Yaqub alayhi salam could have asked Allah, give me my eyesight. He would have gotten it. But why is it that the strange thing happened? Yusuf alayhi salam had to say, اذهبوا بقميصي, bring my shirt and give it to my father. When he will put it on his eyes, على وجه أبي بصيرا, he will get his basara. The reason is because, no doubt, Allah gives everything. There is no doubt. Allah is the one who gives. Prophet Muhammad cannot give you anything. Prophet Isaa cannot give you anything. Prophet Yaqub cannot ever give you anything. The real giver of everything is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah doesn't come down and give it to you directly. Allah will not come down to you and give you directly His. He didn't give you the Wahi, Quran directly. When you are sick and you pray to Allah, oh Allah, I am sick, I have this illness, give me shifa. Does Allah come down and say, oh my servant, here, I give you shifa? He doesn't. There is a way the word works. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah. O believers, fear Allah and wabtahu ilayhi al-wasila. If you are in difficulty, if you have a problem, you can directly ask me, but I don't give you directly. وَابْتَغُوا إِلَيْهِ الْوَسِيلَةِ. Go to a wasila, go to a mean. If you are ill, go to the doctor, get medication. That's what Quran is. Isa alayhi salam, that person was blind. Allah didn't come down, give him eyesight. There was a wasila, Isa alayhi salam, who just said, look in front of you. Just by saying, Allah made it happen. That is the aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, by the way. We Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah do not believe you can ask, or the real givers are Prophet Muhammad or Prophet Isa. No. We believe the real giver is only Allah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He gives it through means. He gives it through His servants. He gives it through Ibad al-Rahman, His people, His servant. He will not give you directly shifa. There is a mean. Sometimes it's not just people, sometimes there are things. Medication, for example. Paracetamol, antibiotics. But the real giver is Allah. But He puts the ta'seer in His servants, sometimes in different things. So anyway, today we discuss a little bit about Isa alayhi salam. Inshallah, next week I will discuss more in detail that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, when he was 12, he went back to Bethlehem. And what happens about crucifixion? Was he crucified or not? What do we Muslims believe in? And Isa alayhi salam coming back before the Day of Judgment. All these things, inshallah, we will discuss